Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho.
Harder Brunch presents Merry Chuckle Fest.
Ho, ho, ho.
We're going to be taking over the White Rabbit 11/29. We're going to be doing a live podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to have games. We're going to have interactive stuff with the audience. It's really fun, guys. If you have never been to a Harder Brunch live podcast, please join us Wednesday the 29th at White Rabbit. Tickets are available online. Right now, they're only $10. They're going to be $15 at the door.
So get them now.
Get them now.
Get them now.
We'll see you there.
I'm eating brunch with my people though. The homie Dyke just cooked up a feast and we bout to eat it, bro. Fucked around and has to mix the lobster with the poutine. Daddy is rolling blow dream, them boys got down a routine. It's Naptown culture, cooking 7 courses. Had to pass the torch and now I'm grabbing second portion. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and a smoke. It's Harder Brunch on the way and get prepared for the jokes. Whoa.
Hi, and welcome to the Harder Brunch Podcast. I'm your host, Dyke Michaels, and with me as always, my co-host, Thaddaeus J. Mckee.
Slappy, pappy, wait, wait.
On the ones, the twos, the wheels of steels, the sauce boss of Indianapolis, and the last broke dragon. Give it up for Zach Rohn, everybody.
Beep, beep, that's me.
And a very special returning guest with us in studio, comedian DJ Dangler. Welcome back to the program.
Hey, this has been great. I've never had anybody narrate what I was just doing before the lead-in song right now, and like it's surreal and wonderful. Like I'm like I just did that, and it's really kind of having a moment. It's pretty cool.
This is a meta cave.
This is a really. Where is that guy? It's freaking out. There's going to be some dude following me. God, I want that so much.
Now, DJ, you've been on the show multiple times, right? You're a returning guest at least once.
I think just once.
Just once?
Maybe twice. I feel like I'm gonna feel rude if I'm wrong, but I think just once.
We are at the almost 4-year mark.
Wow.
Of Harder Brunch. So like we've definitely had
I was late to it, if that makes sense. Like you guys were well established my first time. Like I didn't sneak in on one of the early ones.
Well, that's good because I was embarrassed when I first started doing a podcast and I didn't want to tell anybody that I was doing one. Which is counterintuitive to doing a podcast.
Well, you were doing it on your phone.
Well, yeah, it started off small. And so I was so new to comedy that I thought I was just like, who's this asshole doing a podcast? Think he could do a podcast?
Yeah.
So I was like real nervous about bringing.
And now you know just what asshole you are.
Yeah. I know exactly the flavor and shape of asshole I am. And but yeah, so especially, and you're how long have you been doing comedy for?
A long time, 17 or 18 years, like maybe.
Dang.
Yeah, like my entire adult life.
Wow.
So you are one of the very few, what I consider like
Dinosaurs.
You really should have accomplished more. You're right. So, 17 years, right in the middle, huh?
way
to not overreach.
I was gonna go with professional headliner. You know? Like when you
That's
start.
a better way to frame it.
I mean, I think like on the scene, there's open micers. You know, there's people like I don't know where I'm at right now. Is like I'm a working feature.
Yeah.
But it's not my only job.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, like, and like, am I a professional comedian? I say it to get booked, but like
100%. And that's a fun thing to talk about. And I mean, like I said, it's been 18 years, so I still wonder sometimes. It's one of those things where I'm like, am I a real comic? Does that make? Because it is. It's one of those where I'm like, oh yeah, no. I mean, like that
never goes away.
Like it's such a ridiculous job to have,
Right?
And it's kind of nebulous. Like, I mean, if I take 3 months off and I'm not working as a comic, am I a comic?
Yeah.
Like that sounds crazy, but I think that makes. I mean,
yeah. Like, what are you?
Yeah, like what? And if somebody transitions and starts writing for a TV show, is Miss Pat still a comic?
Absolutely.
Like we're using like somebody like that was a friend of mine. Like, obviously.
Like Tim Allen, is he a comic?
That's an even better example because he was, but is he now?
I can't imagine what the interaction between you and Miss Pat looks like.
I think I'm one of the few white dudes over 30 that Miss Pat even kind of likes. Does that make sense? Oh yeah. Like it's one of those. It's very. It's so dumb, and it might be. I was dating a black girl when I met Miss Pat, and I think it was just one of those, like, it was at least reason enough to learn my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and then I didn't screw it up. And then she was like, oh no, I like him. And he's big enough to maybe carry heavy shit. So 2 birds, 1 stone.
Right.
She's a very pragmatic woman, Miss Pat.
But yeah, I mean, I think in the Indianapolis comedy scene, it was like you, Brent Terhune. I mean, there was like it was rarefied air of like who's been doing this for like more than 15 years, who's like a legit like headliner. So I had to work my way up, and I interviewed a lot of open micers before I started because I remember the first time I had talked to Terhune was on a phone. It was like for the drunk dial, and I was calling him on the phone, and it was Gwen was supposed to be co-host, but it was during COVID, so I had Gwen on one line, I'm at home by myself, and then Brent's on the other, and I'm trying to throw pepper in little jokes and stuff, and they are just giving me crickets. And I was just like, I've never bombed in such a weird and unique way of just like, I'm in a room by myself bombing, you know, like, with 2 other comics, and I was just like, maybe I need to not be a podcaster. Yeah. This is good.
Yeah, like, man, like you've been like on the scene. Like the thing I like about you is like you foster like good character, like in the scene, like of what, hey, this is what a comedy scene feels like. You're part of the group, like, because everybody sees you as kind of like the bald eagle. Like you know what you're doing. If you're on the lineup, everybody comes out, and it's great.
Is that I don't know.
Did you hear a little bit of shade for being bald too? Is
Yeah,
that what you heard with him?
No,
The bald eagle of comedy.
I am rocking a new look right now.
I was
clean shaven with a shaved head for the first time in my life, and Thad doesn't seem to like it.
DJ, you're like the impotent cheetah of the comedy scene.
You know when those sad lions lose all their teeth and shit and get relegated to the back of the
Glazed
pack?
over white eyes. Yeah, the lion with the milky eye.
You ever seen one of those garbage dogs? Dogs. You're like, does it have a house? No. The people make sure it gets fed.
Someone said this, and I found it to be one of the most true. Saying like any compliment that goes on too long becomes a criticism.
I get those so badly. Like I also though I kind of can only give backhanded compliments to my friends, and I don't mean, but like I'll frequently come up to people and I'll be like, listen, I only know how to give love kind of shittily. Yeah. Like if I'm gonna listen, you were really struggling there, but you figured it out. Like I kind of only give backhanded compliments, and that's not a good behavior. Like I'm not proud of it, but if I ever tell you something that's kind of hurtful, please know I'm trying to help.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. Sometimes I like, you know, you take drugs with your friends and then you start being like, well, why don't we tell each other we love each other more often? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, I need to cut this with some spice. I need to put a little sass in here.
I frequently I can remember reading a study once about how like if you are swearing, you're more likely to be telling the truth. Does that make sense? So like it's one of those things like, so a lot of people kind of find it endearing when somebody swears. Like you don't want to use that to manipulate, but it's one of those, you're like, oh, that guy's kind of telling the truth. I kind of feel the same way with like a backhanded like it's one of those, I'm like, listen, if I can see the whole picture, that tells you that I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's because I'm not good at receiving compliments, and I've actually, strangely enough, comedy has made me a little bit better at it because you get a lot of compliments after a show or whatever. Yeah. And what I do now is I'll just be like, I give one very what I think is very sincere thank you for a compliment. Someone gives me a compliment, I go, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But then if you give me one compliment beyond that, then I just stare. Like, I don't know what to do after that. I'm just kind of like, because I'm like in my head, I go, like, you're lying to me. I know you're lying to me. Like, it wasn't whatever nice thing you're saying. So I think that when I give a compliment, I have to pepper it with a little sass too, because I want you to know that I mean the compliment, as fucked up as that is, you know?
I also... And I'm scared that this will become like a dated, shitty old man behavior. I'm really scared of it. I still kind of love busting balls.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I thoroughly dig it. Like I know that sounds one of my favorite moments in comedy. And it couldn't be recreated because I can't be 8 years in again, you know? But like, I can remember watching my friend just crush a room, and we're real happy. And a friend of ours comes up afterwards and goes, oh, well, you can't win them all. And just totally, it was so much fun. Like, but now like that window can only be broken once.
Yeah.
But goddamn, it's just such a great break. Like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that's still funny to everybody.
I think there is kind of an age thing involved, because like there was an open micer who I like. He came to summer camp. He was a great dude. And there was and I like to gently roast people on Facebook. I don't say anything controversial, but I like it is the lightest of ball busting. And if I do it, it's to people I like. It's always to my friends.
100%.
I don't go after people I don't know.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's all very light. And I literally put something on it. I just I wouldn't do this show because I think so-and-so's a hack. And this guy screenshot it and sent it to me. He goes, do we have a problem? Like, did I do something wrong? I was like, no, like,
I would have
I'm
never...
busting your balls, man.
Yeah.
Like a comic calling another comic a hack is like level 1 roasting, you know?
Like that would be... I would hope if anybody said that to me and I knew their name, I'd be like, oh, they're messing with me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People call me hack all the time.
I just thought it was a nickname.
I thought it was a nickname. I thought that was respect.
I thought it was short for Thad.
Wait, what does hack mean again?
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, no, I feel that way all the time with like, yeah. But it's also become one of those things where it's so pervasive now that it might have lost some of its charm. I mean, like roasts used to be kind of a treat.
Yeah.
Like a roast was one of those things that not everybody got it.
It was rare and it wasn't, it was kind of secretive.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like a thing that
this is a only people that really like chocolate like this type of chocolate.
Yeah.
But now that type of chocolate is put on peanut butter cups. It's everywhere. Well, like it's mass produced. It's for everything now.
We had a thing too, because, you know, we have a lot of strong female comics that come in that are better at roasting, you know, they hammer us more than we hammer them half the time. Gwen Sunkel and Rena Com, they're experts at like, you know, talking shit, talking trash. And then we'll do like the after brunch, and sometimes we'll have newer comics on, and like sometimes I forget, like, oh, like this is a 23-year-old woman who's like first year into comedy, and like we're having a good time, and then at some point we're like, wait, are we just adult bullying right now? like this isn't roasting with friends, but like we had to like establish that, be like, okay, what are we doing right now? Like I want everyone to have a good time over here.
It is like, as much as I want to think that comedy is universal, and as much as like we make great big sweeping claims like that, so much of it is generational. That really is something that as I'm aging now, I'm 42. Like it's one of those things I don't know. Not that long ago, people didn't have to have a sense of humor. And now everyone has to be kind of funny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
To exist on the internet?
Or to exist in like real life. When my dad was growing up, the movie star didn't have a clever quip. Like Charles Bronson was just Charles goddamn Bronson all day.
Yeah.
Like the most clever thing he ever did was, I don't know, shoot a guy in the wiener. Does that make, but like he didn't have to have like that clever Spider-Man banter.
Yeah.
So like the idea of what was funny fundamentally changes on like whose job it is to be funny. Like the fact that the leading man now has to have a sense of humor, I think is a relatively new phenomenon.
It blows my mind when I find out there's people out there that do not like comedy. And I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of comedy? They're like, just all of it. And I'm like, how is that an option?
That's like not liking music or not liking sugar. But there are people that don't like music or sugar, I guess, too. And like, I'm like, wow, that's rough.
I used to work at the distillery, and we'd have shows there, and I would just always be promoting. Every shift was like, hey, come to our show, and I would always start off being like, hey, do you like stand-up comedy? Because everyone says yes.
Yeah.
And I remember this one lady was just like, not particularly. And I was like, what? And then I spent the whole rest of the day just confused,
contemplating what does she like? Yeah.
I like tragedy.
Yeah.
And I like sad stuff.
I love stand-up tragedy. I love stand-up tragedy.
Well, we've all seen that.
We have seen some stand-up tragedy.
What is the worst show you've ever been on? Not necessarily your worst bomb, but the worst show.
Right. I've got a handful because I have been in places that I'm just like, you shouldn't have done this. I can remember once they booked me to entertain at a parade.
Okay.
Essentially, or it was like a festival. It was like a pumpkin festival.
Okay.
But the primary attraction was a parade through so it was middle of the day, me telling jokes in a tent. It was just one of those. It was awful. It's gonna get real. Oh, it's so dark. It's so sad. So somebody you just mentioned, Brent Terhune, went with me because we had to be clean, right? But when they were like, hey, can you do this time clean? I was like, yeah, I can do clean comedy. But then I show up and it's a bunch of kids, little kids. And that's different than clean. Mine was not saying the F word, but these kids still, they don't need to hear about how DJ Dangler sounds like a wiener. So it was weird and hard. But anyway, it was just outside. And this is so awful. But there were a lot of really severely special needs folks that were at this, but people would just wheel them into this tent and leave them there. So there was just me and Brent Terhune telling jokes for 20 adults in wheelchairs that I know most of them had no idea anyone was talking. And it was just a weird, what are you doing, DJ? I am here to fill time. I am just rambling until a clock goes off. Then I'm going home.
Do you think that's why they called it the Pumpkinfest? No, I'm sorry.
No.
Thad just walked out of the room.
It's been fun.
Oh, but it was such a there was a moment I can remember. It was it was so awful. Brent Terhune's trying his best to whatever, but there's no win. And a parade goes by in the background, and he's like, "This counts. I'm gonna not talk, but this counts on my time."
Well, Thad is really good. This is not something that I would do, but Thad is really good at he'll get hired as a host for an event, won't do any material, but he'll just kind of keep the party going and introduce people and be just kind of a exciting person up there. And I feel like it's very comedy adjacent, but it's not you doing your material or whatever.
It is a specific skill that I really stress to new comics and good comics. Because I'm not above hosting. I love hosting an event. And if you're a really good comic, you're probably going to get asked to host a lot of stuff. That's not you. People are going to want to see you not doing your job, which is great. If you can get paid to just be you, do that. But now when I am hosting, I kind of go out of my way to not tell any jokes. If I can convince everybody there that I am funny without having to prove it, I have done my job the best possible. Does that
So you just do 15 minutes of crowd work?
Or current event bullshit jokes, stuff that I'm this is kind of funny, but
something you could write quick.
Yeah. Or even even kind of like again, I've been doing this for 16 or 17 years.
Yeah.
I do have some kind of seasonal jokes. I know that sounds dumb, but like I've got some shit that I break out at Christmas time that it's not always part of my, like,
Right.
It's a great little Christmas joke, but it's
it's
not
up there too.
Yeah. What's
Do
that?
you feel like it just comes, like, you know, when you're just crowd working, does it come to you?
A little bit. Like this is what I'm talking about. But yeah, like I love having being able to just kind of hem and haw for 10, 15 minutes is maybe throw in something to like let them know I can do this if I have to.
Yeah.
I don't love hosting just for the simple fact that I get so in my head about botching the people's name or credits that I always end up borderline botching their name or credits.
Have you ever spaced? Have you ever forgotten?
Well, Thad has a good story.
Well, I do too.
Yeah,
There's some volunteer. I mean, it doesn't matter who it was. I think it was Godfrey, but like, I don't.
The best part about this story is Godfrey. How many names does Godfrey have?
Ooh, one.
He just has the one. It's not a first and a last name.
Oh.
If you forget Godfrey, you shit the entire bed.
I have one though that's like just as bad. I have one. I was hosting at a place, and it was like Sunday. I had been hosting for the guy all weekend, and on Sunday forgot his name. Like I had gotten it right for 5 shows prior to that.
Yeah.
But on Sunday, I just couldn't. It
felt awful. I was on the stage, and I was like, "All right, guys, and your next person coming out to the stage, you know him. Make some noise." Remember his name? You guys know him. Come on, get out here. You guys know him. I don't need to say his name. I don't need to say his name. We all know him. We all know him.
Yeah.
Get out here. Godfrey.
Did it finally come to you?
Yeah, finally. At the very, I was like,
there we go.
But like, I saw him come out, and he's like, "Yo."
Yeah.
He was looking at his butt. He's like, "No, that wasn't good."
Yeah. Yeah. Have you had people screw up your name real badly?
Oh yeah.
I had one guy that I think like was doing it on purpose, and that's what he wasn't any good. Like I was brand new, and like I was doing a guest spot all weekend, and I think he was just fucking with me. Oh, and it's one of those weird ones. Like I'm so glad I know that guy's dead now.
I think that some people that don't know me get real nervous about saying my name.
I can see that.
It's basically they do the same thing I was talking about, but like I had someone bring me up at a black show as give it up for this Dyke.
This Dyke?
But I don't think they were trying to like. I think they
stole
either
it
like
wrong?
they were just like. They just get scared at the last second. They go, give it up for this Dyke. It's like I don't know. I don't know what this is. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and our commercial break is brought to you by Upland Brewing Company.
Upland.
Some of our good friends at Upland. I'm drinking a campside pale ale. It's been a minute. Yeah, I feel like the summer's over, but it's never too late to drink a campside,
and it's never too late to do a CV. CV before bed.
Before bed. Does that help you go to sleep at night?
What is a CV?
Not really.
Champagne Velvet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Champagne. The good people at Upland, they have a Humvee, and it has a Champagne Velvet like wrap on it, and they let us do camp promo in it. Yeah. So I gotta like tape Thad like in a Humvee just driving around Upland.
Yeah. That was fun. I got to drive the Humvee.
But then it looks bad in the commercial because he's getting out of a Humvee with an open can of beer. And I was like, wait a second. Maybe we might be sending the wrong message here. Oh, it was like, we're professional stunt performers under.
I didn't know how to do it with a car.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not like a car beer guy. Like, that wasn't my thing. I'm like, but like, it's someone throws you a beer and like, drink Upland. And like, but like, you're at your campsite. So I think we were implicit that it was
private property.
You weren't drinking and driving.
No.
You're drinking and mudding.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Just blacking out and mudding.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a rule against drinking. I'm sure there is. I'm 100% sure there is.
Depends on the land and the acreage that you have.
I don't think it does.
Some trails.
Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with more. DJ Dangler.
Who is Whoopi Goldberg most to you? Like, what's like her preeminent
Ghost,
Sister
Ghost?
Sister Act, Sister Act.
Mine's Ghost.
Ghost, Sister Act, and then Jumping Jack Flash.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
Ooh.
Mine would be Ghost, Star Wars, or Star Trek.
yeah.
I forget about Star Trek.
Yeah.
But that was an important one too. Yeah.
Mine would be Ghost, Star Trek. This was a weird because like
Everything in the 90s.
Mine was
I feel
actually
like-
Karina. I'm not gonna lie. That was probably my first.
when I was a kid, do you remember? This is a very old. We're going right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember? This is.
Are we recording? Because
Yeah.
this is gold. Like
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to lose what I have to say about Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, speaking of old man stuff,
Yeah.
remember going into the VHS store to rent a tape?
Oh, yeah.
And like not really like kind of like just taking a risk on a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I obviously loved Whoopi, and I remember I went and I rented. There's a movie that she's in called Telephone.
Okay.
And I rented it, and it was just like, oh, Whoopi never misses. I mean,
Yeah.
and it is. I think it was a one-woman play that got actually recorded into a movie.
Okay.
So it's just her inside a house with a phone the whole time, and it's like her talking to people, but there's no one else in it.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre. And I saw this as a child, so maybe I would appreciate it a little bit more. But I just remember like, and I used to not give up on stuff. I would watch it to the bitter end.
Wait, she's the only actress in
the
the
only
movie?
person, the only human in the whole thing.
So it's like the director's like, hey, I just want to hang out with Whoopi for.
And then,
Oh wow.
and then she just kind of becomes more and more unhinged as the thing goes on. And like I thought, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like Jumping Jack Flash, and it is not.
It is not like
No,
Jumping-
it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be weird now to think. I mean, I think it's weird that there's some people that only think of like, you know, like Bill Cosby as a rapist. Like you don't even have a pre-rapist memory of Bill Cosby.
That's crazy.
Ooh.
For me. Like, it's so weird for me having friends now or like peers and whatever that are 30
Yeah.
or younger. And like, yeah, that's real weird for me.
That's your only thought of him. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's how
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
introduced to him.
To him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I remember
That's
OJ
tough.
as the funny guy from the Naked Gun movies.
Same. Yeah.
You know?
Because I have some similar like things that I discover and feel weird. One of I watched old movies and found out that Liz Taylor was hot. Like as opposed to like because she was just kind of an old lady my whole life.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why she was famous. She was famous for being an old. I don't know why the Queen's famous. I'm 7. You know, like. But then it was one of those, I was like, oh, she was a smoke show. Or Marlon Brando.
Oh, yeah.
Marlon Brando was just a big fat weirdo.
Yeah.
And then, like, I was probably post-college when I saw...
Streetcar.
And then I was like, oh, now I get why...
Yeah, he was a sex symbol.
He's famous because that's why my mom likes it when my dad wears a wears a tight white T-shirt. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, weird, right? Did you ever know Liz Taylor was hot?
There was some of the ones that really surprised me were people that I only knew. Jessica Tandy, like she was a young actress. Only knew her as the Driving Miss Daisy lady.
Yeah, and you're like, I didn't know that was all. Yeah,
All right, you geezers.
this is gross.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah. You remember?
I
the movie?
also,
Yeah.
I just watched or I read something about how like younger people, like Gen Z, and I think, and I am
No, let's
not-
shit on Gen Z.
No,
Go ahead.
I am not Gen Z at all, but I'm totally with them on this. I was reading something about how like Gen Z wants to see television that has like meaningful friendships, and they don't really care about sex on TV.
Yeah, because they have free porn.
Because they have porn, yeah, like they've never grown up without pornography. But I'm almost in the same boat. Like I've never understood people. I forget that sex is on TV because like it's so not a part of it for me.
Yeah.
like because I've lived in a house by myself every day as an adult, so I've never had a problem looking at pornography. I've never needed to like, ooh, that titillation.
But you remember when that was and why that was in the movie, you know?
Sort of, but even then, like, I can remember being weirded out. I never understood guys buying like Girls Gone Wild or stuff like that. I was like, there's real porn, you weirdos. This doesn't make any sense to me. But like, I'm obviously wrong. Like, that's a huge whatever. But I think about that a lot with, I am now discovering like celebrities that were hot that I never realized were hot because I didn't. Elizabeth Hurley, I never realized was a smoke show. I know, and I feel like an idiot because I was just like, everybody. And
No.
Yeah.
The first Austin Powers?
Sure.
Yeah,
But it was just one of those, I was like, every girl on television's hot. Like, I mean, I would have been in high school when Austin Powers came out.
The accent?
It's not like I was struggling for boners at 16.
Oh, get that picture of her and Matthew Perry. Did she date Matthew Perry? R.I.P.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And you looked at her and you're like, you know what? She is
Well,
pretty.
no, I saw her on a dorky. I saw her on a comic book TV show, and like I saw her done up kind of sexy, and it was just one of those. I was like, I never realized she had monster cans. Like I felt like embarrassed. One of those. I was like, why did I not objectify you the right way?
Well, I was introduced to her to Bedazzled, that movie Bedazzled. Remember
Oh,
that?
she played the sexy devil.
Yeah, when she played the sexy devil. So there was always a hint. Maybe she's cute.
Yeah.
Maybe a large populace thinks she's hot.
Oh, she obviously is. Like, but it was just one of those I didn't realize, and
You
I
took off
feel
her
like-
glasses and ponytail. And
yeah,
you're like, she is.
and I felt really dopey about it. I was like, I never thought of you as a sex symbol, and I was wrong.
She's all that with Elizabeth Hurley.
I'm really sorry, lady. I should have been ruining magazines with you in them.
I should have been on board.
Yeah, I was wrong.
I think that as men, a lot of us think that we're the first person to discover somebody too.
Hey, she's hot.
There's always someone on TV that's like, on TV, she looks kind of average, but like if you saw her in the wild, it's like, this is one of the top 10 prettiest people on the planet.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that always kills me that guys always think they're like, yeah, I'd hook up with her, is Allison Brie. I'm like, Allison Brie is
stunning.
It's stunning.
Yeah, she's
but
a perfect-
guys will act like they're doing her a favor.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
You know that
I'd take her out
perfect
for dinner.
human?
Yeah, I'd hook up with Allison Brie, you know?
I've had something. This is. She's in a movie now. I have no desire to watch it, but she's in a movie now where she's dating John Cena.
Okay.
And I kind of want it to be real. It's one of those, I'm like, you two go make babies. I don't know what they're going to be, but they're going to be cool.
They're gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a weird combination of genes. I want to see what that kid ends up good at. Like, I wouldn't know if it ended up an artist or a shot put thrower.
I gotta tell you, I love John Cena. Like, and I don't really know anything about. I know he was a wrestler.
Yep,
but I know him like so much more for his like acting stuff. I love him.
I'm a big wrestling fan. I love pro wrestling, unironically, and I hate John Cena. Pro wrestling, hate him. Hate. Cena sucks. I will yell it at little kids in front of me.
Interesting. Really?
But I love him outside of pro wrestling. Like, I love him so much as old Hulk Hogan. I don't care about what a shitty young Hulk Hogan he was. Like, he is great at, like, it's really weird for me.
Well, that's also part of the. I mean, I think that's part of like. I always tip my hat to whatever the actor's name who played Joffrey on Game of Thrones.
For like, I hated that kid.
You brought out such a visceral hate for me,
Yeah.
and that so much that dude just stopped acting and just was like, I just want to go to college and be like a normal person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude, you may be the best actor on the planet.
Yeah.
Just how much you made me hate you.
Yeah, we need you to play Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
From now on.
All right, let's do the smoke. It's time for the smoking goose.
I've got a. Who's
Brunch breakdown.
hotter, Allison Brie or John Cena?
I just want to watch them together.
Anything they're doing. Who's hotter?
Maybe Cena. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot that she did that wrestling show too.
Oh, she's badass.
that show.
She took some bumps.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun show.
Mark Maron.
Yeah.
It's time for the smoking goose.
All right.
Brunch breakdown.
It was.
We had a lot of fun with this brunch this week. Smoking Goose is their sponsor over on Dorman Street. They do a lot of charcuterie, a lot of smoked meats. Are you familiar?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I've gone to Smoking Goose before. Yeah.
What did I pick up there? I picked up. I'll talk about it when we get there. Well, we had a very exciting time because. At first I wanted to go because you're a big nerd.
Yeah.
And I'm a big nerd, and we have a lot of like crossover nerd stuff that we liked. And I was like trying to think of what would be great. And I asked you, I was like, what are you watching right now? You sent me this comprehensive list. But while I was waiting for you to send me the list, I was like, I just saw you do Dead Comics.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that show?
This is the 11th year, but it's our 10th actual one because we didn't do one during COVID. Yeah.
Okay.
So this was our 10th one.
Where every October you have comics play versions of comics that have passed away.
Yep, that's our only rule is they have to be dead. Like that's the only
Yeah.
Now,
rule.
is there? I've always wondered this. Is there like a year rule between the time of the death and before the person can play it?
Nope,
Okay.
not at all. We have had this year. We had I'm trying to think of like the quickest turnaround we've ever had, but we've had some that were just a couple months out.
Okay.
Wow.
And the thing I like about because you pack them in. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like 20 plus comics. And some of them are great.
Yeah.
Some of them are phenomenal, and some of them are awkward.
Yeah.
And so it's such a great mix to get and watch. And then there's some people, and I'm not going to name names, but there's some people where I think they're better at channeling dead comics than they are at their own comedy.
I will say
I don't like that.
I have been shocked at like what some of my peers have turned out, and I've been shocked at the way different people interpret the assignment. Because like some people will write 3 to 5 brand new minutes in the spirit of someone.
I like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like that is really cool. Other people
Just do their jokes verbatim.
And some people will work real hard on like nailing an impression. And it's weird because I have seen that work and not work. And I have also seen like some of the weirdest takes on stuff be inspired. One of the simplest that I like to say, like as a testament for I have no idea what's going to work. Zane came out one year and did Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
And he just did it. He wasn't dressed up like Bernie Mac. He didn't do a Bernie Mac voice. But I mean, like you can do a Bernie Mac voice without like slipping into anything offensive. But he just did it as fearless.
Yeah.
Like he just did. I ain't scared, and it was just Zane Zadie telling Bernie Mac's jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked, and people were on board. And it was one of those, like, it probably wasn't the best of the night because he had to compete with guys who go way above board. Like, people will have music accompanying them in the back and whole whatever. But it was definitely top half of the show.
Yeah.
And it was just shouldn't have worked. I had no reason to. I don't want to say shouldn't have, but I had no reason to think it would have.
Right.
I like it too because you get people, swapping genders and race.
Love
or
it.
You have like a skinny Patrice O'Neal, and they come out and they just kind of like embody the characters.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a black male Patrice O'Neal.
No way.
I'm dead serious. I think we've had.
Now that you think about it,
Like I know we've had like a couple of Asian dudes do it.
well,
And I'm if I'm forgetting somebody, I'm sorry. Like but I don't. But and that's kind of a fun one, and it's a weird one because I love Patrice O'Neal, and I've seen like varying degrees of success and like whatever, but it's always one of those. I'm like, well, this is gonna be tough.
Yeah,
that's what they chose. Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the spirit of that, which is and I think when you do a show once a year like that, it makes it really special. And obviously, it seems a sold out crowd. It's always jumping in there. I don't know how many people have come out just for that and that don't even probably go to comedy shows, but they know that that's going to be good every year.
I had a weird moment. This was 2 years ago. I was hanging up posters, and like a lady walking down the street knew the show and knew me from the show, not as a comic. Like, is that like, I don't know.
Just as a showrunner
just
of
like
Dead Comics.
She was like, I've already got my ticket. I love it. And I was like, oh. And then she was like, who are you going to be? And it was one of those like, oh, I'm going to be Amazing Jonathan. And like, she knew who I was. And like, I ran into, I have no idea. Like, and it wasn't me being like big. I was like, I don't know who this person is, and I tend to know.
Yeah.
I like
regulars.
that. I was on the street one time recently, and someone just yelled out, "Hey, meat cakes at me!" And I was
That's
like,
so fun.
I'll take it.
That could have been unrelated. You
Yeah.
kind of just have that vibe.
That's what they call me in them streets.
They've been calling you meat cakes. Are you proud of that?
I had that nickname
great.
before the event.
That's
sir.
good. All publicity is good publicity.
So we decided to go with Dead Comics, and we've done comics before, and then we did we do Dead Black Comics, or were they just Black
think it
Comics,
was
and there
just Black
happened to be
Comics.
two of them that we did were
Some
dead.
of them
Yeah,
were
because
dead
one of
and
them
some
was
of them were
Thad
alive.
that I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm not dead.
You're not dead, not yet.
No, I started it out with I wanted to do Gallagher, but when I went to the store, I couldn't find any fresh watermelon, and I could only find frozen, so I did Gallagher 2 instead, and made a vinaigrette out of the watermelon. I served it with spring greens, canary melon, and then feta cheese.
It was delicious.
Yeah, he gave me like, it's a weird thing to get excited for, but he just had me try like the watermelon vinaigrette, and I was like, this is actually really good. And then when I saw him like the compost thing, I go, oh, there's no actual watermelon on there. Like,
Nope.
All right,
Nope.
this is very meta. I like this. This is great. And I just, when I see that 2 spelled out on a menu, Gallagher also, it just makes me laugh every time.
I totally remember we've had a Black Patrice O'Neill. I feel like I think we had a guy named Jay Hunter. Did him like just a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he did a very good job. I was remembering the jokes that were done. I just didn't want to be a liar.
But the majority of them.
But the
have not
majority,
been.
yeah.
So I did on a previous menu. I did Mitch Hedberg club sandwich,
That's fun.
and I know he had a lot of food jokes.
Yeah.
So I was like looking, and then the cinnamon roll joke came up, and I had never heard it. I never heard
such
that
a good joke.
that
And, like,
joke before.
Yeah.
And so, and it's so short, and it's like, so it's just like, it's, to me, it's fun to do a whole course of food based on a one-liner joke.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I have never made cinnamon rolls from scratch before.
It was so
Like-
good.
They were very good.
That was my first time making. I had store-bought cinnamon rolls in the fridge in case I fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we're serving cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
If this yeast doesn't rise,
People ate that so fast on the table, by the way.
I have that reel of like I have the joke manifesting in my life right now. My mother bought me a candle that smells delicious. Like it's one of those I'm like I can't light that because it makes this place smell like a bakery. Like I can't exist in that state of candy fervor.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
it's gonna be hungry.
Yeah.
And then
I did Bernie mac and cheese. I had a smoked pork belly in there, and really I was just going for the mac and cheese pun. It wasn't based on any of his jokes
Bernie
or
Mac.
anything. Yeah,
It was off that
yeah, it was
Mac.
just the mac.
it's
It's
Yeah.
actually Whoopi Goldberg's recipe for mac and cheese.
Real? Whoa, hey!
So
Whoopi Goldberg had over here.
here's how you get away with it. That's some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had.
That's really good mac and cheese, yeah.
is fire. If that was
Oh, that mac and cheese. I came down here and I talked to you. I was like, I came down here for a reason. Remember that? And I was like, I can't remember what it was, but I came down here to tell you that mac and cheese was fire.
awesome.
That's exactly what it was. Because I was like, man, like I've had good mac and cheese and I've had your good mac and cheese, but you stepped it up. It was crazy.
Can I just whatever? I think Bernie Mac in Bad Santa is one of my like favorite things. I like Bad Santa better than it is. Do you have any of those that like no, I love that.
You
And,
give
like,
it excuses.
yeah, like, and if people don't like it, let's just not talk about how you don't like it. Like, it's one of those, like, you're not allowed to talk shit about Bad Santa when I'm around. Like, I love it.
there's I obviously everything Bernie Mac. One of the funniest things to me was on the Bernie Mac show, on his TV show, he would like talk to the camera, and I assumed that they would just do a bunch of takes of him saying stuff, and like he was kind of known for like he would use big words but say them wrong, and like I could never tell if he was like doing it on purpose or whatever. But it was supposed to be he was supposed to be going off and on this rant, and he's supposed to say like, "Smell the testosterone," and he's like, "Smell the testosterone." Testosterone. It's so funny to me. Also, for the next course, I made it solely around the pun of ham Kennison, but I had too much fun making this. Just ham with a beret on it.
Yeah, ham Kennison, baby. That's a good pun.
Thanks.
You paused this podcast way too long for that one.
But then I did a Monte Cristo, which it's been I feel like a minute since we've done the Monte. It's a very kind of basic.
That's a
brunch
classic
sandwich.
fancy sandwich.
Yeah. I never know. I always feel weird because like some people really do not like the sweet meats, like sweet and meat.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
like
but the jelly on top though.
Well, I know you like it, but I feel like it's very divisive to certain people.
A lot of people freak out. You've got like a culinary background, but like, did you grow up in a real food positive house? Like,
what do you mean?
were you a picky eater? Were you allowed to be a picky eater?
Anti-food. My whole family was anti-food.
Anti-food.
They were not positive.
No, but I mean, like, I definitely have grown. Like, I had a college girlfriend who had never had a peach.
Oh,
Like that's one of those, and like she wasn't like, she wasn't poor. It's not like she couldn't have access to peaches, but it was just. And she was like a skinny girl, like that. I don't know. That's not important, but it was just one of the. I want people. Well, it's important to me.
It's a humble brag.
It's important to me that you know she was super vulnerable. But what I was about to say was like I don't think she ate anything that wasn't like Pop-Tarts or fish sticks. Like she just ate processed food and didn't have.
I've become a much more open eater throughout the course of my. I've had a very weird like diet. So like I used to be just like I only ate what my grandma made, and it was like if my grandma made it, I would eat it, and my grandma didn't make it. Like when I was a little kid, I was actually a very kind of picky eater. Like if we went out to restaurants, they'd be like, I don't know what to get the kid, and they would give me like a bowl of strawberries or something. Yep. But like I ate everything that my grandma made, and my grandma made some weird shit. Like we grew up eating like cow tongue. You know?
Okay.
Not every day, but
like
you know, like,
so you weren't adventurous, but
like when I used to not like anything green, like green stuff on pizza. Like we had a pizza and there was like a loose green pepper on it. Or I'd be like, that's disgusting. Why is there green on this pizza? Yeah. And then I remember like in elementary school, they started rolling in like a salad bar once a week. Like once a week, they would bring a salad bar in for a treat. And I liked loading up with like cheese and ranch and croutons.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I'll put a little lettuce on here to make it a thing. But I was never like vegetables. Yeah. But then I became a vegetarian when I was 16.
Okay.
And from 16 to 27, I was a vegetarian. So I didn't have a chicken wing until I was pushing 30.
Yeah.
And so like I just kind of was like, well, you can't be a vegetarian and not eat vegetables, you know. So
right.
I learned how to eat all kinds of vegetables and stuff like that. And then by the time I started eating meat again was right a couple years before I started culinary school. And at culinary school, they were just kind of like, you don't have to like caviar, but you have to be able to tell good caviar from bad caviar.
Precisely.
So there's a few things. I mean, it's kind of like I don't like enjoy eating eyeballs or like but I can eat most offal. You know, I can't. I'm not huge on fish as much as because we don't live near the ocean. If I'm near the ocean, then I'm like, if I can see the ocean, I'm like, let's eat fish.
Yeah.
But when I'm in Indianapolis, I'm like, where'd that fish come from?
I understand that 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. It wasn't like, but I don't think it was because of my house. I think they were pretty open to stuff.
But like, I can remember, we were just talking about how like people are scared of sugar on meats or sweet meats or whatever. Yeah. I can remember when I first encountered pad thai, like peanut butter as a sauce.
Yeah, yeah.
I discovered it by accident. I discovered it raiding a fridge. Like I discovered it stealing food from a big sister.
Okay.
Right? Like I came home and she had a big takeout order and I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but it's awesome.
Interesting.
And then like when I realized it was peanut butter.
How cool.
Being like confused and like, I'm eating peanut butter spaghetti. Yeah. Like was what that was how I understood it. But it was one of those I was like, and then I was like, I need to just not judge anything. Like, that was when I quit like
Is that the name of the episode?
But it was like that. I decided I was going to quit getting pissed off about castings in movies.
Okay.
After that kid from Brokeback Mountain was such an awesome Joker. Like, does that like one of those? I was like, oh no, that's not exactly the example, but that one I'm like, oh no,
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, just let yourself. Oh yeah, that guy. just let yourself go on the. I was wrong. Like I was totally wrong on that.
And then our dessert was Andy Kaufman.
That was so fun. That was such a great concept idea.
And and I knew you would know this. I didn't know how many other people like would get it, but like when he played Carnegie Hall, he started off by playing Mighty Mouse on the record, and then he ended it by bussing everybody out for Milk and Cookies. And I remember like watching them because I didn't watch Taxi. I had kind of missed everything, I knew the song, but I didn't know who they were singing about, the REM song. And then when Jim Carrey played him, I was just like, this was a real person? Like, this is amazing.
This was a thing? This happened?
With the REM song.
The Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon.
Yeah.
I knew him from Taxi. Like, I watched Taxi a lot. But it didn't occur to me that he was somebody that was, like, important outside of being a side character on that show.
Isn't it such a weird thing that, like, Taxi has 5 people on that show that are all bigger than Taxi.
Oh yeah.
Like what a weird, like it's almost like a Bob and David.
Mr. Show.
It's like a Mr. Show. Like when you see those old things of Mr. Show and you're like, holy cow, every one of those people ended up being their own independent star. Like Taxi has that.
I was so at the end of the movie, he performs at Carnegie Hall, and he ends up inviting everyone out for Milk and Cookies and loads them up full on a bus and takes I don't know how many hundreds of people out for Milk and Cookies. So I wanted to do something similar and have just a surprise dessert. And at the end, we loaded everybody up in 2 cars and we took them to. I feel like the Irvington version of Milk and Cookies is the Dole Whip at Smashburger. And a Dole Whip, if you don't know, it was something that was made by Dole specifically for Disney, and so for years and years and years, really only exclusively available at like Disney World, Disney parks, whatever. So like, I had heard of it, but I had never had one until this year.
I have them at the fair.
Okay.
There's one of those. No, I thought that was a really fun gimmick. It was also a lot of fun being one of the drivers because I didn't know how much I was supposed to say, and we just made everybody get in an unmarked white van.
So you have
I
to
just
kind of be a
quietly
hijacker.
drove them somewhere.
Yeah, like Clay was like, "Should I ride my motorcycle?" And I said, "Well, it's in the neighborhood." And he was like, "I'll just ride with you." Like, but it was all very like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
like, this is,
it had a lot of weird energy to it. But a lot of people will get in a van.
Especially after you fed them 4 courses.
Oh, we could have killed like 8 people easily.
I started acting like I was crying. Like, they make me take everybody and kill people. This is their ruse.
I hate this part.
They're my friends
I
now.
love the mac and cheese. I hate the murder.
I hate the murder.
Oh my gosh. Did you try some of that coffee when you first got in here?
Coffee? Yeah. No, the coffee was great.
That's our it's our other sponsor, Tinker Coffee.
Oh.
Tinker.
And I say this every week, but I really mean it. Tinker's ruined me for any other coffee. Like when I go on the road or whatever, and I stay in a hotel, and I get that little packet of coffee, and I'm drinking it, and I'm like, this is a different beverage. Like this is a completely different thing.
I'm not going to say that it's ruined me because I am still totally not above garbage coffee. But I like what you're like. No, it's a different thing. Like garbage coffee is what I just said. Like it's and I don't mind it. Like I've done so much driving and I am fine with good gas station hot black whatever.
My favorite thing is to rate bad coffee like in levels of like like bank coffee. Remember the coffee they used to have at the bank or like at the mechanic?
Yeah.
Like that's just been burnt on there for like 8 hours.
I feel like they even sell them different K-cups because like they all even have K-cups, but the K-cups still suck. Like they're being watered down.
Like, no, this is only for the VA hospital. You can only have it. It's somehow cold and hot. Like it's somehow overdone.
In the wrong order.
Yeah. This is the liquid equivalent to a hot pocket.
Can you drop a beat from in there, Sauce Boss? DJ Dangler, thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can people find you and follow you on social media?
DJ Dangler is handsome is usually my handle on stuff. DJ Dangler's not hard to find. It's silly enough. I'm traveling all over telling jokes right now. If you're in the Midwest, I'm probably going to tell jokes in your city this year.
All right. Thaddaeus J.
You can find me at Thad Mckee on Instagram and Twitter, X. And that's what I be doing. I'm so excited about some of the events that we have coming up. You guys got to check them out.
What are some of those events?
That'd be Wednesday, September 29th. Merry Chuckle Fest. Tickets on event. No?
November.
What did I say?
September.
Yep. Well, fuck that up. You know what? Don't go.
All right.
Build yourself a time machine to go back to September 29th. I mean, there won't be an event going on there because he said the wrong day, but I would like to see someone invent time travel. You want to plug something else?
Nope.
Casey Campbell, what you get?
I mean, I have to sift through all of this, but I'll be doing some kind of Andy Kaufman-esque sketch in real life. You can look for me online at Danger Brewer right now.
I'm at Dyke Michaels across all social media. Guys, we have an amazing Patreon. If you want to support us and be part of Brunch Nation, only $3. You can get access to our entire library and also be in the know about some cool stuff that's going on. Or you can just give us $3. You know, you can do it however you want because you love us and we love you. And we'll see you next time on Harder Brunch. Bye-bye.